I never told my son how much I really earn. To him, I've always been the same person. The tired mother who leaves early for work, comes home late, cooks with whatever is in the fridge, and never buys anything expensive for herself. A simple woman. Nothing special. He sees my small apartment, my old shoes, my worn handbag, and he assumes that is my whole story. And I let him believe it, for years. What he doesn't know is that I've been a senior executive for almost 2 decades. I manage operations across several countries. I negotiate contracts worth millions. And I earn more in a single month than most people earn in an entire year. You would never guess that by looking at me. I chose to live simply, to stay humble, to keep my dignity quiet and steady rather than loud and showy. I never thought that choice would become a problem until one phone call changed everything. It was a Tuesday afternoon when my son, Marcus, called me. His voice sounded tense, not relaxed like usual. He said, "Mom, can you do me a favor? Simone's parents are visiting from overseas. They want to meet you. We're having dinner on Saturday at a fancy restaurant. Please come. It's important." The way he said important made my stomach twist. So I asked him, "Do they know anything about me?" There was silence. Then he said quietly, "I told them you work in an office, that you live alone, that you're simple. You don't have much." Simple. Such a small word to erase an entire lifetime of work. I took a deep breath and told him I would be there. But after hanging up, I looked around my modest living room and made a decision. If my son thinks I'm a poor woman, if his in-laws are coming ready to judge me, then I would give them exactly what they wanted to see. I would go as the poor, naive, slightly embarrassing mother. I wanted to see how they would treat someone they believed had nothing. On Saturday, I dressed in the most shapeless, faded dress I owned. Old shoes, no jewelry, a worn canvas bag. I pulled my hair back into a simple ponytail and looked like a woman life had stepped on and then forgotten. Perfect. The restaurant they chose was the kind where the lights are low, the menu has no prices, and the waiters judge you before you sit down. My son saw me first. He looked shocked, uncomfortable, almost guilty. Simone gave me a stiff kiss on the cheek, her smile tight and forced. She introduced me to her parents like she was apologizing for me before I even spoke. Her mother scanned me from head to toe, taking in every detail, the dress, the bag, the shoes. She offered a cold handshake and sat back down without another word. They placed me at the far end of the table, away from everyone, as if I didn't belong. Throughout dinner, her parents talked about expensive vacations, designer stores, luxury hotels, and investments. Then they asked about me, where I lived, if my salary covered my bills, if it was hard to live alone at my age. Every sentence was dipped in sugar but sharpened like a blade. I answered softly, pretending to be shy, watching them reveal themselves completely. And finally, when dessert came, Simone's mother leaned forward and said they wanted to help me. She offered me between $500 and $700 a month so I could live comfortably without depending on Marcus. In return, they asked me not to bother the newlyweds too much and to give them space. They were offering to pay me to disappear from my son's life. That was the moment I stopped pretending. I looked straight at them and said, "That's a very interesting offer, but let me tell you who I really am." I told them about my career, my position, my income, the contracts I sign, the responsibility I carry every single day. I told them my monthly salary, $40,000, every single month. Their faces drained of color. My son stared at me, shocked, speechless. I took out my corporate card, sleek, heavy, unmistakable, and placed it on the table. "I don't need your money," I said. "I never did. And I'm not leaving my son's life." They had judged me not because I was poor, but because they believed I was. That was the real insult. I paid the entire bill and left the restaurant with my son following behind me. full of regret and disbelief. He asked me why I never told him the truth. I told him the truth doesn't need to be loud to be real, and I wanted him to grow up valuing people, not money. If there's one thing I learned that night, it's this. Some people only respect you when they finally see your power. But real power doesn't need to be shown. Real power simply exists, even if others are too blind to notice.